All right. The next black swan is continuing with Alibaba. This is the stock near some others like, for example, SML and Apple and Meta and are expecting data. So we have seen, especially since yesterday, that Alibaba was in very short-term bullish move, and the reason was that they said that the Alibaba released an AI model it claims surpasses better being than DeepSeek. Whatever we see here in stocks market, especially yesterday, 2 days ago, minus 18%, yesterday plus 9, and now we see that Nvidia minus 5. 2 hours ago it was plus 6.9%, so a decline of 11%, especially after Fed Powell's speech. And we see now that shortly before the earnings, Apple is struggling the resistance, Amazon the same, Meta, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla and many other stocks who have been proud of releasing their own AI, and exactly that's the mistake. That's the hype of AI. Why? Because those companies, especially Nvidia, did or went the wrong way. If we compare, for example, Nvidia to Amazon, we see that Amazon at the beginning was a garage company with very low budget. They started to grow up to make a lot of money, and then finally, after many years of success, they started to go in AI and also hyperspace. And Nvidia did exactly the opposite. Instead of improving the products, what did they do? They hyped the stock and share prices, put a lot of capital in a company that already was under investigation since 3 years ago because of fraud companies, a lot of fraud companies around Asia especially, and we have seen that a lot of negative news which has been published and released, but instead of falling, the stock prices started to rise. And that exactly was, to me, a very special moment that I said, okay, this stock is a fraud, and now we have the evidence. So here, the next black swan is beginning or is continuing with Alibaba, but Meta, Microsoft, and Facebook and other companies who have been investing in this AI, they will meet or face in some weeks the very bad earning reports, and they will cause a big crash in the stock market. So I don't say now today or maybe tomorrow. We will see also again some fraud moves, bullish fraud moves. You can, for example, compare it a bullish move but with declining volume, and that's a very big evidence that somebody or private speculators are buybacking the stocks. Also, the company itself massively start to buy back their own stocks to climb their share prices. But the typical investor of these companies doesn't, in 99% of time, know what they will be expected for. And therefore, you need to be very, very, very cautious with these stocks. There will be a technical problem. The problem will be why blocking China's DeepSeek from using US AI may be difficult. It is a warning signal also from China that they are willing to fight against the United States, US companies. I think the best solution was of the European government, especially began with Italy, which have started to immediately to ban the usage of DeepSeek. So I personally never trusted and never will trust to any Chinese company. So I don't, to me, those companies, they have been stealing a lot of knowledge of the Western world, copying it, and yes, they have produced here and there maybe some better and good products, but the original concept was stolen by the Chinese. Therefore, I don't like those companies, and I never trust them. Never. I never trust any Chinese company. Even if they gave me billions of dollars, I don't believe them. So, but here the problem is, first of all, that distillation violates terms of service of US tech companies like OpenAI, in my opinion. So, yes, the Chinese have been copying the knowledge and also using OpenAI to train the DeepSeek. So to me personally, DeepSeek is not the next generation. Even if it is open source, that's a good idea, but this is also something the US companies can start to continue, and that way to fight this Chinese fraud. So we need to see that DeepSeek this month rocked the technology sector with a new AI model, right? And that's exactly what Alibaba did. And it's very interesting that since 2 days suddenly, all these news which have been already known to a lot of traders in the trading world, it wasn't something new. The new or the sudden information was that the news agency used this news as a hype, and this hype caused the erasing of $500 billion of market cap of NVIDIA within some hours. It was the biggest and heaviest losing day in the history of US NASDAQ, 18% in just one day, 18% loss. It has never happened before. And also a lot of, not only one certain hedge company or Chinese hedge company, but also a lot of hedge companies, and not only the Chinese, I believe that also a lot of companies around Asia, Russia, who are against the Western world, have been manipulating this price and started to short heavily NVIDIA because they exactly knew that this is the weakest point of the US stock dynasty or AI or tech dynasty. NVIDIA was always and is still the weakest baby, the weakest hyped company in NASDAQ, especially in tech sector. Not only NVIDIA, there are a lot of other companies, MicroStrategy, even Meta, with more than 30% of its assets and values, is invested in AI, in my opinion, in the wrong one. So it will be a big bearish crash down even in Trump's era of this tech company if they do not immediately make restrictions and new laws how those companies in future should bring the evidence that their numbers, the balance sheet numbers, or the numbers of earnings which will be published are exactly like they told. And this is exactly what NVIDIA did. So the next earnings of NVIDIA are nothing but frauds because they have been already calculating the payments, the clients' payments of 2025 in their 2024 balance sheet, meaning companies which will pay maybe in some months, but they did not have or they did not paid already all their bills. They have said, okay, that client, those clients will pay us in some months. All right, so write it in our balance sheet. Therefore, they have made their balance sheet so somewhere more beautiful, right? More better than it is in reality. It means it is a blob, it is a hype. So it is possible to stop model distillation when you have open source models like Mistral or Llama, and they all are available to everybody, but they can also find OpenAI's models somewhere through customers. It's not something new. It's already practicing since many months, even I can say now since 18 months, right? So you need to be careful with that. The next one is that Bitcoin has definitely disconnected itself from this sector now completely, and I'm talking only for Bitcoin. I'm not talking for shitcoins. I'm not talking for altcoins, for Ethereum, for Solana. They all are still connected to the tech market, and therefore Bitcoin is the one and only that is now used as a hedge asset, crypto hedge asset. And we have seen, especially today, instead, as Solana, Ethereum, and the other shitcoins started to erupt and to follow NASDAQ, which is now with S&P 500 in a downtrend, Bitcoin and gold stayed firm. Even gold was shaking a little bit, but Bitcoin from the beginning massively defended that very important support at 101.80. And the next point Bitcoin can go to is 108, 110. And then after that, possibly making also a new higher high and all-time high, starting to go then to 113, to 117, 123, 128, 133, 135, 139, 142, 149, 153K. And maybe during that, if not sooner, it happens into March the 19th. It can also climb higher to 176, and if not, why not, to 200K before March the 19th. So before that date comes, it is possible that Bitcoin climbs that very high distance now from now on, but very fast. And then up from 19th, 20th of March, we will see then a decline also in Bitcoin, right? So you need then to trade wisely. The hype of the stock market, especially the US tech stock market, is full of fraud, full of spams, full of blobs and hypes, and you need to be very, very careful of that. If you're trading it, maybe just on technical side, using wisely, take profit, getting out of the market, but as a buyer and holder of those stocks, never. I have personally lost since many years my trust in US stocks as a buy and holder, especially since the bluff and hype, the internet hype at the beginning of 2000, at the end of 90s. And there I have understood how they are making that scammy business. And you see now the next hype already starting to wackel, to fall. And that's very interesting. What will be the next hype? They have already plans how they will make a new kind of technology more attractive to clients, to normal people, to take them the money out of their pocket. Why? Because those people don't have the necessary knowledge how to really understand the market and how to really trade that, right? Okay, trade wisely, trade safe, and share this video. Have a good time.